All right, we continue to keep our eyes firmly on developments from Wayanad, where the death toll has now risen to 308. I'm going to go straight across to my colleague, Akshita, who's been relentlessly tracking that story from ground zero. Over to you, Akshita.
Thanks very much, Sneha. Good morning to all of our viewers. I'm joining you live from Kalpeta in Wayanad district. And the unfortunate news that's just come in the last few hours from the Kerala government, as Sneha just told you, is that the death toll has gone above 300. 308 deaths have been reported in the landslides that have hit this beautiful district of Wayanad. And unfortunately, as heartbreaking as it is, that number is only expected to go up in the next 24 hours as rescue operations continue for the fourth straight day here in Wayanad. Now things have eased up as far as the rescue efforts go because of the Bailey Bridge that's been constructed in record time by the army personnel. The NDRF, SDRF, the Kerala Fire and Rescue, the Kerala Police, the Malabar Special Forces, they're all working right now together to ensure they reach every single pocket of Mundakai and beyond where the landslide has hit. And now they're able to take vehicles right across, which is making a huge difference really as far as the rescue operations go and ensuring that resources reach there quicker. Having said that, even at this point, the official record based on what locals have said is that about 200 people remain missing. Does this mean that their bodies are yet to be pulled out? Not necessarily, because remember that out of the 308 deaths that have been reported, just about 100 bodies so far have been identified. The rest, DNA testing is underway. So just look at the amount of effort that's going in. On one hand, rescue operations that are taking place at a war footing at the rescue site. Where I am in Kalpeta is where you've got the relief camps as well, one right here. And at these relief camps, there are personnel constantly providing the necessary help to all those who have been displaced. And besides that, also work being done, forensic work to ensure that every body that's recovered, there's testing, DNA testing being done. And in some cases, and this is something I saw even when I went to the upper reaches where this landslide has hit, all this effort is going in to just recover body parts, just to be able to help families figure out if their loved ones have been lost in the tragedy or not, and put an end to that endless wait and the misery that they've been going through. It's so heartbreaking that many of the people in relief camps right now who've lost their families say, look, even if I just get the body now, that's enough, because that's what they've come to terms with. They've come to terms with the reality of how bad this tragedy is and just want some news of what's really happened to their son, their daughter, their mother, father, uncle, and so on. We're getting you many of those stories as well of how much suffering there is currently in Wayanad, which is going to take a lifetime essentially to heal. Right now, the work is on as far as rescue efforts are underway. In about 2 weeks from now, officials have said that they will look to rebuild some of the lives of the families that have been completely displaced. But obviously, they're left scarred forever. I want to get you some of the reports that I filed yesterday. I visited a relief camp and also made my way once again to the landslide hit Mundakai. Beyond that, remember, there are other pockets where the landslide again has led to several casualties. We're not allowed to go there just yet because of how unsafe it is. There are a few buildings which are still standing precariously at that. So officials are saying it could collapse any moment, which is why that entire area is completely cordoned off. But take a look at my reports. And this is the topmost point of Mundakai, where rescue operations are going on. This path behind me leads to another portion of where the landslide hit. And so I've already trekked 7 kilometers. So going further up till there will be another 5 kilometers. Officials have advised me against it, which is why I can't go right now, because they're saying it's dangerous. And because of the rains, there could be issues. There could be more landslides. And they have specific alerts about that, which is why we're not going to go that side and heed the officials' warning. What's happening here? And the reason I decided to come up here is to show you how Mundakai, most people don't believe me when I've been saying repeatedly that this was a full-fledged town, a bustling town that's come crashing down. these buildings and this entire area is evidence of really the fact that Mundakai was fully developed, had this massive population, had homes, had shops. As you can see here, these were all shops, establishments put up along the road where in fact the earth mover is. That was the road, a road that locals tell me even buses used to frequent. So that's how much it was populated and was a bustling area as well. Now, if I walk right through this entire stretch, I'll show you, and we'll go forward because on the other side, I can also show you the extent of damage the landslide has caused. All of this area, we're not allowed to go again because the mud is loose, and on the other side is just a complete drop. But this entire area again were shops. So buried underneath this are shops, which officials are yet to get to because it's on the edge, it's dangerous. On the right hand, you can see vehicles that have been toppled over, as well as this mosque, remnants of this mosque. And people tell me that the locals actually, when they realized that there was too much rain, didn't stay in their homes. Many of them rushed to this particular mosque. Some managed to survive, those who waited on the top of the building. So they managed to survive this particular incident. This is a town that had 500 plus people, all now gone. Many of them, their bodies have been found. There are still questions about some others who are missing. Miraculously, some very, very few have managed to survive to tell the tale. And those were people who were at the top of their homes, and their homes withstood the damage, didn't come crashing down. Then they managed to survive. Amid the heavy rain, with several new pockets being found that have been impacted by the landslide, here's how officials are actually testing before earth movers are taken in, and whether it's safe for other officials to go through. These are experts, divers who are here just for this. They first walk in there, check how deep and how soft the soil is, whether it's safe for earth movers to come in, because then you can speed up the operation. These officials there, the divers, are doing exactly that. They're checking whether it's safe for other personnel to go in. They're also checking if it's safe for earth movers to go in. So this patch now, they will for the first time use equipment, use earth movers to actually dig through and see if there's any debris to be found. So there are several such pockets where operations are just about starting now. Their entire stretch down there, no one's been able to reach just yet. So then the question arises about whether we're going to be seeing the number of deaths actually increasing. The officials that we've spoken to, the locals we've spoken to, they all unfortunately and tragically believe that yes, it's going to be much more than even at this point, 250 plus, than what it's thought out to be now. With video journalist Sachin Chandok, this is Akshita Nandagopal reporting from Wayanad for India Today.
All the landslide patients were brought here, 176 of them, out of which 11 are in the ICU, 3 are in critical condition. We have covered everything free of cost so far. It is our responsibility to help our people as much as possible. When things like this happen, our people rally. We are there. Right now we have 70 patients remaining. Out of the 170, a lot of them were discharged. But there's a lot of work to be done, and we are here, we're supporting the people.
Let me bring in on this broadcast Shibi Mole as well as Shilpa Nair, who are getting us all the latest updates on the rescue efforts. Shibi, I'm going to come across to you first. At the rescue site, Shibi, things have eased up, courtesy the Bailey Bridge that the army successfully, completed yesterday. It's already been in use with several trucks, ambulances, all now able to go across to Mundakai, right up to the landslide hit zone. Take us through what's happening right now. Day 4, are we going to see rescue operations coming to an end today, Shibi?
We can't say that we are going to see it coming to an end today because there's still many more bodies to be recovered. But, practically speaking, it could be very difficult to recover all the bodies because, it's been missing since the last 3-4 days, and as some, it's completely under the debris. So it could be very difficult to recover all the bodies, which might possibly go in as missing cases later on. But again, we're seeing the rescue operators trying their best to recover as many bodies as possible because the Chief Minister's office has confirmed that whoever is alive has been saved. So the current rescue operation is to recover the bodies of people who are, that's stuck or that's in areas where the rescue operators were not able to reach and, carry out the rescue operations swiftly, because the machines and the equipments were not being taken there, considering there was no way they could have taken all these up there till Mundakai. So since the Bailey Bridge construction is over, we can see the ambulances and all the vehicles and the machines being taken there, which again makes it very easy for them to carry the rescue operations today. Possibly by evening we will get a figure of how many bodies have been recovered, because right now the death toll stands at 308, out of which 195 are bodies, but the other 113 are actually body parts. So, but again, the DNA test is being conducted, is what Health Minister Veena George said when we spoke to her in the morning. This number is definitely going to increase, because there have been too many families there who have gone missing in the area, Mundakai area. When we speak to locals, we do get an idea about how many people and how many families were actually staying there. So the missing people are not actually the number officially being shown. It's much beyond that. So it could be a very difficult task to recover all these people, all the bodies of all these people missing. But hopefully let's keep the trust in our rescue operators that most of the bodies will be recovered. That's what the officials are saying. They do feel that they could complete it in another few days, but definitely not by today evening. It will go on for a while, considering that it's raining also. It's not stopped raining since morning. Yesterday also we had the same situation where the rescue operations had to be altered in between, considering that the climate was very adverse, and also the water, we saw the way the water was flowing also. So and also at the topmost corner, which is the Punjiri Mattam area, there was a landslide warning also yesterday. So the safety of the rescue operators are also a major concern as far as the government is concerned, as far as the district administration is concerned.
Correct. Very true. Yesterday the rescue operations had to stop by about afternoon, and that's because of the heavy rain and the landslide warning that should be referred to us. Locals, when we spoke to, said that there were about 530 houses in Mundakai alone. And God knows how many families are there. Now, you may wonder, how is it that rescue officials can actually call off for ops if they know that there are more bodies? They don't know for certain. And that's because entire families have been wiped out. Who's there to come out and tell any of the rescue officials that, look, this entire family is buried there, when the entire family has been wiped out? There's been no survivor to come forward and say, my loved one is buried under that debris. So it's impossible to get an exact estimate of how many people have been affected by this landslide. The other aspect of it is just look at the sheer damage that the landslide has created. So even if at one pocket the house was it's at least a few kilometers away, the remnants of the house are being found, and that too buried under 10 feet of debris or more. So then it's almost impossible for officials to be able to ascertain where there could be any more mortal remains, where there could be bodies, which is why they're saying that, look, we have to be practical. This will be an endless operation. There are 6 teams right now who've been split up to identify all 6 pockets where the impact of this landslide was felt, and then to take things forward. As we speak, you can see already that it's beginning to rain, and this seriously hampers the rescue operations as well. I want to bring in Shilpa Nair also on this broadcast. Shilpa, what we've also been seeing is the amazing resilience, the amazing support that localites here have been giving. Kerala as a state has come together to deal with this tragedy. And you've got people from across Kerala who've come now to Wayanad, have been camping here for the last 3 days and helping in any way they can with the rescue efforts.
Well, that's right, Akshita. In fact, in time of any crisis, Kerala always comes together, and even this time around, when Wayanad needs the help of the entire state, the state has not disappointed, because we were just, we are currently in Wayanad. We were making our way towards the landslide site, and just a couple of kilometers away was a kitchen that was opened by a group of volunteers. Now, these are volunteers who've come all the way from Kozhikode to set up a kitchen, and now in that kitchen, they've been preparing food for around 7,000 to 10,000 people. All 3 meals of the day are prepared there, fresh food, healthy food being prepared, and once they make the food, they pack it up, they bring to the landslide here, and it is served to all the rescue workers who are currently engaged in a very challenging task, and to extend support to those who are selflessly helping the people of Wayanad. The rest of the state has joined hands, ensuring that they get all the raw materials, they prepare food, and it is given to the rescue operators, the rescue workers, who are not even taking taking a minute's break. And currently we are at one of the police checkposts that have been put up here, and tight regulations have been put in place by the district administration in Wayanad because, of course, because of the scale of this disaster, there's a lot of people who wants to come and help, but that is, of course, adding to a lot of chaos, and that is the reason why strict regulations have been put in place. Only essential vehicles, high priority vehicles are being allowed to go, and that is the reason why there is strict checking at this point in time to ensure that only high priority vehicles like ambulances, heavy equipments, vehicles carrying essential items are allowed to cross this particular point. Everyone else, including the media, will have to stop their vehicles at this point and then walk at least for 2 kilometers, and this is to ensure that there is no traffic congestion because these are very, very narrow roads, and
there's no chaos at that particular spot because the movement of ambulances is the priority right now. We've been seeing that the last few days. We've dropped off about a few kilometers away and then walked to the spot, and then it's another, of course, treacherous trek all the way up to Mundakai, which hopefully now has been addressed with that Bailey Bridge coming up as well.